Hello YouTube chess lovers and my friends, this is Gunjan here. Welcome to my fourth attacking chess game. The game which I have picked today is one of the great beauty of the King's Gambit, and the interesting part is our recent world champion Vishwanath Anand was on the losing side. This game was played in the Moscow 1995 between Alexander Morozevich and Vishwanath Anand. Of course, Anand was not a world champion during that time, but soon after 1 year, he beat Garry Kasparov and become the world champion. So the only thing I want to say before we commencing the game is, if you systematically attack, even the world champion can go down less than 25 moves. Now, regarding the Morozevich, we all know is a very good attacking chess player, and you will see in this game how he completely destroyed the Anand with a very good home preparation. The opening was King's Gambit, so we have e4, e5, and Morozevich plays f4, and probably confident on his own ability and unknown about the Morozevich intention, Anand captured the pawn, and here Morozevich plays bishop to c4, known as the bishop's gambit line. Now the people who see this position first time may wondering, why not queen to h4 check? Well, it's very well known in grandmaster circle that after king to f1, knight to f3 comes with a great tempo, and the resulting position is very much favorable to the white. And probably Anand thought that Morozevich is more prepared for that line, so he decided to go for the main line, which start with this move, knight to f6, and here white plays knight to c3, and Anand replied with the c6. So now you can see the idea is very simple. Black wants to play d5, white drop the bishop back, so bishop goes to the b3, and d5 occurs anyways. The one pair of pawn has been exchanged, so e cross d5 and c cross d5, and white plays d4. You can see the first merit of this opening. Not only white is trying to regain the pawn at f4, but you can see there is an isolated pawn of the black on the d5, and if the end game occurs, then it will be a great position for the white. So here Anand replied with bishop to b4, so pinning the knight, and Morozevich continues with the king side development of the pieces, knight to f3. Now when the first time I see this position, I thought, why not queen to e7 check at this position? So queen to e7 check, and when white plays queen to e2, black can simply play knight to e4, and I thought this position is very much favorable to the black. But when I checked with the engine, I found out that white has a very simple reply, bishop cross f4, and no matter how black captured that knight, the resulting position is favorable to the white. So for example, if knight cross c3, then white can simply play queen cross queen, and after king cross queen, white can play bishop to d2. Again, you can see the end game will be occurred, and white has all the chances to win the game because black has an isolated pawn. And if bishop cross c3 here, then very simple will be b cross c3, and if now knight cross c3, then again queen cross queen, and after king cross queen, white can play bishop to d2, and after knight to e4, white can simply grab the pawn at d5, and the usual line continues like knight cross d2, king cross d2, and you can see at this position not only white has developed a two piece, but the rook will comes to the e file with the tempo, and look at the black pieces, they all are at their original position. So this will be again a very comfortable game for the white. So considering all this, Anand decided at this point to castle on the king side, and white did the same, so white castle on the king side as well. And now here the best move for the black is bishop to d6, but instead of that Anand captured the knight, and when the white recapture, the simple idea of the black is to put the queen on c7, where it not only protect the f4 pawn, but it also attacking the c3. Morozevich plays equally good move, queen to e1. So now you can see this queen is not only protecting the pawn, but this queen has an idea to go to the h4. Anand continues with the piece development, so knight to c6 and queen to h4, and now knight to e7. So knight is rushing through the king side, and not only this knight can use as a defending purpose, but you can see by the arrows the knight can go to the either g6 or the f5, where it can attack the queen. White first of all grab the pawn, so bishop takes f4, and now you can see this bishop is attacking the queen, so Anand has to forcefully capture the pawn, and after bishop goes back to d2, Anand put his queen back to the c7. And by this model you can see white has given up his weak c pawn compared to the black strong f pawn. And after this exchange, Morozevich played the excellent move, which is knight to e5. And you can see the first idea of knight to e5. White can any moment capture this knight on f6. So for example, if black plays a very casual move, let's say a6, then rook cross f6, and after g cross f6, white can play queen to g3 plus, and after knight to g6, white can actually capture that knight. And you can see the queen has been attacked, so black has to forcefully capture the queen. But after knight to e7, king to g7, h cross g6, not only white has a 2-piece against the rook, but the d pawn will be dropped as well, and the resulting position will be again much more favorable to the white. So considering all this, it's very important at this point black cannot play any casual moves, and that is exactly Anand responded. So Anand played knight to f5, attacking the queen, and queen has been put at very nice square, queen to f4. Here Anand developed his last minor piece, which is bishop to e6, and now Morozevich played bishop to b4, attacking the rook, and the rook has been put at c8. Once the rook moved from that file, there's a one more piece going away from the king, and right now black pieces are not that much actively placed, and Morozevich take a great advantage of that. You need a great courage to play a move such as g4. That is exactly played by the Morozevich. Anand dropped the knight back to the d6, rook a to e1 has been played. Anand played knight to e4, and the simple idea is cutting the communication between knight and rook. But after knight to e4, the resulting position is every single piece of the black is going towards the queen side, and that means this poor king has been left alone. And Morozevich exploit this magnificently, and he start with the move c4. Here the first mistake was done by the Anand, and Anand captured that pawn, and Morozevich placed his bishop to a very nice diagonal, bishop to c2. See how white has deflected black from the queen side activity, and suddenly white has switched to the king side attack, and forcefully Anand has to drop the knight back to f6. And now, can you guess it? Yes, it's g5. Here the critical blunder by the Anand has occurred. Now here there are two places for the knight, but it's very hard to judge from this position that a disaster is looming. Knight to d5 is a correct move, but in the game Anand played knight to h5, which looks very natural, which is attacking the queen. But after queen to f3, attacking the knight, black simply played g6. And now I give you few seconds. Can you find a winning sequence which will rip apart the black? And I hope you find this move, which is knight cross g6. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Now at first sight it looks like what is exactly going on, but you need to observe the situation very, very carefully. Now please note, f cross g6 is impossible, because simple answer will be rook cross e6, and not only white regain the piece, but attack to boot and a naked king. So this position will be disaster for the black. So very obvious is h cross g6, and still it's not clear what is white achieving right now. But now comes a second dazzling sacrifice, which is bishop cross g6. Now it's very hard for black to resist this sacrifice, and after f cross g6, white can simply play rook cross e6. And now we have to pause for a moment and see exactly what we get after this two amazing sacrifices. First thing you notice is the normal threat is this bishop and the rook is attacking the knight. The most critical threat is white can play rook cross g6, and then after queen cross h5, that leads to the mate. And see the poor position of the black rooks. They are not participating in any kind of activities, and that is the amazing thing white achieved from this position. Although white is a piece down, nobody wants to play as a black. Anand was desperately trying to save the mate, so Anand played queen to f7 and attacking the queen, and Morozevich is not interested in exchanging the queen. Here he played an excellent move, which is queen to d5. So queen to d5, by putting the queen on d5, you can see the three pieces are attacking the knight. But not only that, that creates a discover attack to the queen. And to parry this all threats, black has only one move, which is knight to f5. But again, I'm giving you a few seconds. Can you find a winning shot by the white? And the winning shot is, yep, rook cross f5. And here Anand resigned. Those of you who do not understand why the Anand resigned over here, a simple line can run like this. If queen capture rook, then the very simple is rook check, and no matter where the king goes, for example, let's say king to g7, then queen to g8 is a mate. And if pawn takes rook, so g cross f5, then very simple will be g6. Now whenever queen will move, black has to face the discover check, and if the queen takes the rook, then the very good simple line runs like this. So queen capture queen, and after king to g7 we have bishop to e7, and after king to h6, queen cross f5, black king will not survive longer. I hope you enjoy this amazing miniature of the Morozevich, which will teach us if you are systematically attacking to the world's greatest, even they can knock down very easily. I hope you enjoy and learn my fourth attacking game. Please feel free to comment on my video, and I'll meet you soon. Bye.